Have you ever wondered why you start settling for bare minimum in a narcissistic relationship? The things that are insignificant for others become significant for you. You start making a whole bread out of a small breadcrumb that they throw at your face. You hold on to something when there is nothing to hold on to. You justify their abusive behavior, whitewash the past, and step into denial every single time you have a chance to see them for who they are. You do and accept things that you would have never done or accepted before meeting the narcissist. Consequently, you don't recognize yourself anymore. How did you get to this point? How did the narcissist program and train you to behave this way, to settle for nothing? Let's find out and get answers in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we're going to thoroughly understand how a narcissist programs you to settle for nothing, to keep you thirsty, to keep you coming for more through their altering display of affection and love. If that sounds interesting and you're eager to learn more, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and push the bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post over here. Also, I have created a powerful healing resource for you, a guide that answers top 10 questions asked by every single survivor of narcissistic abuse. If you want access, click the I button above or the link in the description and download the guide now. Now let's get started with understanding what happens in the love bombing stage. I will not thoroughly explain what happens because you already know. I'll focus more on how the narcissist changes their affection, the display of it, how that changes your brain, your nervous system, and how it ultimately shapes your behavior. In the love bombing stage, you feel like you have found the one, the person of your dreams. It feels like a dream has come true. Have you felt that? Did you say those things? If yes, drop your experiences in comments below. Drop what happened in the love bombing stage in comments and help other survivors feel validated. So in the love bombing stage, there is open display of affection. They are loving, they're sweet, kind, attuned, charming, present, connected. They're paying attention. They ask you open-ended questions about your past to extract information. You feel you are being listened to. They're actively listening when in reality, they are extracting info to use against you later. They are paying attention because they're studying you. They're mirroring you because they want you to fall for them. And the moment they notice you have fallen for them, your defenses are down and you have let them in, they start withdrawing. Why? Because they don't find it exciting anymore. They love the chase. Now that they have gotten you, they want to move on to something else. The chase is gone. The need to establish control is gone because now you are under their thumb. But still, the relationship does not end there. The narcissist starts withdrawing. Those early morning text messages, good morning, how are you doing, I love you, babe, all that stuff now starts changing into pure absence. Either you get these messages sporadically throughout the day or you get nothing. To understand the narcissist's crazy making yet altering display of love and affection in depth, let's look at a video clip created by Cynthia, who is also a narcissistic abuse recovery expert. This is exactly what happens. And you wonder, what the hell happened here? Because they had created some kind of expectancy. They had created a routine for you to depend on. There was reliability. There was certainty. They had shaped your behavior. They had shaped your brain to expect a certain form of message, maybe check-in or something from them at a certain time. So your brain was prepared for it. It needed it. It loved it. Now you have been deprived of it out of a sudden and it shocks you to your core. What do? You do not question them, you start questioning yourself. What the hell did I do? Did I make a mistake? Did I say something wrong? Do I need to change myself? What's going on? Have they found someone else? Has something happened? You start panicking. Then you reach out and you try to get them back. This is what I call restoring the homeostasis. You try to make them who they were in the beginning, and your efforts work initially. You get to see the glimpse of their former self, but temporarily. It is not permanent, and you get that supply. that dopamine hit, you are relaxed, your nervous system is regulated, you are finally, I can relax. That is the foundation of trauma bonding. That is where the cognitive dissonance sets in your brain. Ultimately, the efforts from their side are reduced and you start settling for bare minimum, because now the whole relationship has been turned into a form of addiction. If they were checking in, calling you, messaging you throughout the day, let's say 6 to 7 times, it's only one time that you get to hear from them. And this one time, it feels so intense. You're waiting for that call. You're waiting for that message. You're checking your phone. You're trying to know about them, and your heart beats, your heart races. There is a rush of hormones when your phone gives you that notification, when your phone rings, when your phone bells, when you get to hear something, when you get to see something from them. Have you experienced that as well? Let me know in the comments, because I have been there. I know what it feels like. So ultimately, their display of affection goes through a process of decremental decrease, which means over the time, their affection of love gradually decreases and it's reduced to almost nothing. And what happens to you? Your need to get affection for them, your instability, your cognitive dissonance, your trauma bonding goes through what I call incremental increase. Slowly as time passes, your need to please them, your need to change yourself, your need to settle for breadcrumbs goes through an incremental or a gradual increase, and your needs are reduced over time. You start settling for anything that they throw at you. Let's try to understand it using an example, a scenario. Let's say you are in a prison where you are being starved, where you are being kept thirsty for hours, for days. In the beginning, because your body still has energy, your body still has some water in it, it doesn't react adversely. But as time moves and you start feeling hungry and thirsty, you start craving food or water. You want it because now you need it. The narcissist doesn't give you enough to satiate you, to satisfy you. What do? They give you a small quantity of food or water, enough only to keep you alive, not enough to satiate you, just to keep you there, because they love the fact that you are in their prison. So what happens to you? Because your brain has been created in a way that it loves to adapt. It knows how to survive. So it adapts. It makes a whole glass out of this sip of a water. It makes a whole bread out of a small breadcrumb. This piece of bread, when it is nothing, your body starts settling for it. Your body starts satisfying itself with it, with whatever it gets. That is how we function. That is the power of survival. That is the power of adaptation in us as human beings. So that is exactly what happens in the narcissistic relationship. Their affection decreases with time and your need for their affection increases, but you start settling for whatever they throw in your face. Also, you need to understand, and there is so much that happens, I won't be able to cover what goes on in your hormonal system, in your brain. Maybe I'll cover that some other time, but briefly just understand that your brain changes anatomically. The neurons, the neural pathways that are responsible for processing connection and attachment, the perception of it, they change. Your brain shrinks. I mean, a lot happens. Just understand that you depend on them, you become an addict, and that's why you are not able to think rationally. That's why you are not decisive. You are not able to see what other people see. Other people tell you, what is he or she doing for you? It's nothing. It's bare minimum. Come on, leave. But you feel, no, they still love me. Why? Because yesterday they sent me this emoji. In this emoji, there was a smile. And then your brain creates a meaning out of it. Do you see how it's similar to that bread piece and your starvation and how you settle for it? Because you're starved, you feel it's everything for you. They are not. They are satiated. They are satisfied. They are observing you objectively. That's why they see it's insignificant. But for you, it's significant. So over time, this is the reason why you start accepting them, accepting their behavior when it is beyond unacceptable. If you ask the narcissist, why don't you love me? Or why have you changed? Or what's going on? They will give you ridiculous explanations and say something like, well, don't you see? I'm physically here in this relationship with you. I come back, I eat with you, I sleep in the same bed. That is love to me. Their brain, it just is delusional. It works in weird and bizarre ways. The false equivalency is crazy. Just you can't make sense of it. Because they are there physically for you, for them it means they love you. But for you, it's insignificant. I mean, you can live with a stranger and have a better life than living with a narcissist who is cold, who is callous, who is disconnected from you. So for them, they justify their absence of efforts through their presence, physical presence, which means nothing. In conclusion, a narcissist programs you to accept a certain kind of treatment from them, but over time, they withdraw, they isolate, and they withhold, ultimately making you settle for almost nothing, for breadcrumbs, and that is what shapes you and makes you to stay in the relationship when there is nothing to stay for. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful. If you did, drop a like, share this episode with others. I'll talk with you in the next one. Until then, let the healing begin.